Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to bring you some information about finding inexpensive properties in Puerto Rico. Though I am recording from Florida this weekend, Puerto Rico is still in my heart and on my mind. I've had such a great experience being a property owner there, living there, that I want to share that with the world. And I want to let people know that if you have a dream to live, retire, or vacation, or invest in the Caribbean, it's definitely doable. It doesn't have to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. There are ways that you can make this happen relatively inexpensively. So really quickly, before we jump into the screen sharing and I'll go over some of these resources and insights, I just want to remind you that I myself purchased property in Puerto Rico about 3 years ago. And then after renting it out all this time, I actually decided to move into the property to do some renovations to maybe be able to raise some of the market, the prices that I'm charging, to my short-term rental market. So that'll be another video about what happens when you get a property in Puerto Rico. What are some of the things you have to do to bring it up to par, either to live in it or to rent it out. But today we're just going to focus on all the different options that you have to find inexpensive property in Puerto Rico and make your dream of living in the Caribbean a reality. And just an FYI, you should know that many of the mortgage products that work in the United States also work in Puerto Rico. So I'm talking your FHA loan, your FHA 203K loan, which is a loan that allows you to purchase property and fix it up, which is great if you're looking at any distressed property and it's going to need some renovations. Your VA loans, your USDA loans, which are both 0% down, 100% financing available, are also available in Puerto Rico. So not only do you have access to a lot of inexpensive options for purchasing land or structures in Puerto Rico, but the same mortgage products that you're going to see in the US are mirrored in Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. Now, before I jump into the tutorial, which I'm going to get into the screen share, I want to say one last thing. Buying property in Puerto Rico looks like your processes in the US, but then it also doesn't. So you have to really want it. The business culture is different here because it's the Caribbean, it's an island, it's Latin America. So you may be presented with some challenges, some difficulties, and setbacks in the process. But if you really want it, I think you can have it. I've done it. I know other people who have done it. And if you stick, to it and you go through the process, you'll be very pleased at what you can get, at relatively, reasonable prices in Puerto Rico. So without further ado, let's jump over into the screen share so I can show you different resources and websites to locate inexpensive property in Puerto Rico. Okay.
First place we're going to go is Realtor.com. And most of you probably know how to use this site. You can put different filters. We can put in Puerto Rico here. And then you can use the filters like property type, price, to find something that suits your budget. So let's say something under 200K, you'll see that some different listings come up. If you want a multi-unit, you can do that as well. And then you can also write in a specific area that you're interested in. So say you want something in Haití, Puerto Rico. There's no multifamily, so let's clear that filter and redo the search so you can see that you have some different options here. And say you want something even lower, maybe you really want to fix her up, or you're going to take advantage of that filter, and you should be able to find plenty of inexpensive properties. So one thing that I want to point out is that when you click on a property, you should know, and this is going to be just general information. I'm going to try to be brief because I don't have any super specific guidance other than just give you information so you know what you'll feel comfortable with. I will say to you that when you go to Realtor.com, if you click here to get more information about this property, it's going to put you in touch with a buyer's agent. And that buyer's agent will probably call the listing agent and say, hey, listing agent, I have an interested buyer. Are you willing to split your commission with me? Are you willing to co-broke on this transaction? And unfortunately, a lot of realtors in Puerto Rico, and that number may be adjusting, but in my experience, a lot of realtors don't want to co-broke. They won't split the commission. They typically want to sell their listings to their buyers. So you may have a little bit of a pickle in your hand if you find like you're getting some resistance from the buyer's agent that you come in contact through this form, and they maybe don't want to show you the property, or they're stalling, or you're like not getting anywhere. It could be for this reason. This listing agent is not willing to co-broke on the transaction. So a workaround to that is you can actually just contact the listing agent directly. You can look them up and give them this MLS number. I think I'll do a search. So the property ID is what you can give them, or just give them the address and say, hey, I'm interested in this property. You don't have to give them your information, and you can let them know that you have a buyer's agent and ask ahead of time, are they willing to work with buyer's agents? And if not, you may have to reconsider this property or work with your buyer's agent to find out a way that you can, actually get to see this property and put an offer on it. It may mean that you work directly with the listing agent, so they represent you as well. They're going to represent both sides of the transaction. And if you have a good lawyer, that should not be a problem. So it just depends on your level of comfort. I didn't want to spend that much time on this topic, but I think it's something that's pretty important, so you know how real estate transactions can go down here in Puerto Rico. Alternatively, you can reach out to a buyer's agent and just say, hey, I understand that sometimes these listings are not, the listing agent is not willing to split commission. Can you recommend some strategies so that I can see and put offers on properties that I like? And your buyer's agent may be able to help you. So that is probably the longest example that we're going, or the longest kind of rundown and analysis I'm going to do. The next resources I'm going to show you should go pretty quickly. So the next website is Classif online. And this site is kind of like the Puerto Rican Craigslist. It looks a little bit intimidating. You can actually switch it to English if that's easier for you. And then the nice thing about this site is that you can look for properties for sale and for rent. And sometimes even when you get into the for rent section, you may be able to find what's called a tired landlord and say, hey, if you're willing, I'm interested in purchasing the property, and you can negotiate some owner financing or some rent to own arrangement. So you have some flexibility here, but let's just click into some of these listings. You can also set some price parameters here. You can choose the area or town, and then you can also take a look at the map. Probably our criteria too tight. Let's go up to here. And then the thing that you should know is that a lot of times, many times, even buyer's agents will put these postings up, and sometimes the property will not be available. Why? Because they're looking for leads. So they'll put sometimes a nice property on here at a nice price, and you're, oh, this is amazing. You call and it's sold. It's not available. It's not a current listing, because they want to capture you as a buyer's agent. So just a little bit of advice so you can know how these work. And you definitely want to make sure that you're checking the credentials of these people to make sure that they're licensed realtors. You want to look them up and make sure that they are licensed to sell real estate in Puerto Rico, because a lot of unsavory activity goes on because it's not as regulated as a Realtor.com. So again, kind of like the Puerto Rican Craigslist, you have to do your own due diligence and make sure you engage a real estate lawyer that does work here on the island to get the best results for this. The other place that you can go is in Facebook groups. So real estate investment, Puerto Rico, I believe this is the main one. If not, this one has about 5,000 members. You can also just do a search and see if you come up with any other hits, putting in real estate in Puerto Rico, some of the expat groups. So groups are very helpful. You can also look at the Facebook marketplace, and then you'll see stuff for rent and also for sale, home sales. So you can use the same discretion and caution that you would use for Craigslist or the clasificados that I just told you about. You can put in some filters, and it's going to be one of those things if you've ever worked on Facebook Marketplace where you go back and forth, is this available, can I come see it? They're usually going to want to see some type of proof of funds before they show you anything. They're really big on that. So you should have that in place from your bank to show that you're qualified to see the property in question. So that's another place that you can look. You can also go to HUD Homes for Sale. Some of these are like, I want to say bank auction, but I don't think that's exactly, it may be bank auction in partnership with the United States Housing and Urban Development Department, Puerto Rico. And you can see here that there are actually different properties. And I believe the way this works is usually with an auction. So you have to find a real estate agent that is licensed to sign in and place bids on these properties for you. But it's another great place. You can go on the map and you can see pictures. So there are a lot of options here as well to get inexpensive properties. And the other thing that you can do is what I call driving for dollars. So that means you just drive around different neighborhoods, and if you see a property that looks distressed, maybe the grass is overgrown, the paint is chipping off, it seems like it's vacant and no one's tending to it, you can, what I do is I mark that location on my phone. And then you can go to the, I believe it's called the Puerto Rico Catastro. And what you can do is you can search for a property based on the location. When you mark your location, you can put the coordinates into this map, and it takes a little bit of fidgeting, but you can basically find out, say you are, we're going to go to the catastro that you marked while you were driving. So you put those in the search here, and then it's gonna maybe fix it for you. This, I think usually I'll check the bottom one for whatever reason. And then sometimes that location I mark is not super accurate. So I was probably driving, and so it's probably this property that's right across from it. And here you'll have all the information, including the physical direction, the parcel number, and you'll get some tax information, and I believe you'll get, let's see, at some point you can take that parcel number, I believe, and here, this is what you get. You get the name of the owner, and from here you have to do a little bit of work to find where the owner is. They may have someone collecting their mail, so you will probably just do well to start with this address. Maybe you can do some skip tracing, but here you have their name, at least you have the mailing address to the property, and you can start from there. So there's one other thing you can look up, and that's the Puerto Rico Real Estate Investors Association. They have a website, they have a Facebook page, they have events on Eventbrite, and then they also have a WhatsApp group where realtors will post listings as well. So if you're able to, you can join this organization, you can come to meetings, you can be a paid member, you'll get added to the group, or you can come to meetings and get added to the group. And that's another great way to take a look at inexpensive real estate. Then from here, you'll find that they have Instagram accounts, and realtors will post, or listing agents or even owners will post on their social media. So you can follow some social media accounts. So if you're looking for some inexpensive property in Puerto Rico, there are a number of ways to do it. Hopefully this video was helpful and not too overwhelming. And if you need help, I can refer you to somebody so that you can get your dream property here in Puerto Rico. So thanks for watching and following along.
All right, thank you so much for taking time to sit through that tutorial. Hopefully that was helpful. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate the views, the comments, the questions. If you know someone who wants to move to the Caribbean, if they want to get property in Puerto Rico, I am also certified to sell in the Dominican Republic. Please send this video, share with a friend, and I also want to remind you that I'm working on my ebook, Real Estate by Faith, which helps you use biblical principles to acquire real estate, or just really in general reach your real estate goals by faith, using scriptures, using biblical principles, and really leaning into faith to accomplish your real estate goals. A lot of people sit around waiting for money, waiting for the right time, the perfect property, waiting for all these things, and sometimes it brings setbacks and they don't reach their real estate goals. And as someone who has gotten real estate debt-free multiple times, gotten miraculous renovations done, furnished properties, for Airbnb, like I've had so many wonderful, miraculous things happen because I chose to operate in faith with my real estate journey. I really would like to share that with you. So check out the links below, and you can get the book on pre-sale. When it is published, the price is going to go up some, so now you can at least get a good deal on it. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.